Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, we're not even a week into the new year yet. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. The Curb Your Enthusiasm bit where he has the cutoff of by January 7th, you can't say Happy New Year anymore. And I was like, yeah, we're very much still in you say Happy New Year to people because, it's only the 4th. So,
Yeah. And you know what? I've stopped saying Happy New Year only because I'm kind of lumping in early last week. The new year for me kind of started on Monday. So it feels like it all felt the same. Like there wasn't a magical thing on January 1st. It just feels like we've been doing this already for a while. I don't know. It's an odd, and time is weird too. Cause on Friday I was like, it feels like a Monday on Friday after Thursday. I was like, I don't even know what day it is anymore. But you just keep trucking on.
Mm-hmm.
We talked last time about kind of starting on Monday on not being like, all right, I'm not gonna start practicing getting to my goals before Thursday because that's all wasted time. Because you know what's gonna happen. You're not gonna do it on January 1st. Then the second's Friday. Then you got the weekend. I'll start on Monday, and that's just a lot of lost time.
Yeah.
I started on last Monday. I started lesson planning, and I have my little graph paper notebook that I've been lesson planning in because I want to lesson plan every single day, even on days that I'm not coaching. I lesson planned the workout you coached today earlier this morning. Just for the practice and just to keep the wheels going and write down progressions, and then I'll look at what they do in CAP after I do mine because I don't want to be influenced by it. So I'll be like, all right, this is what I said the stimulus was. All right, wow, theirs is more aggressive than mine. What am I missing here? Or maybe I don't think theirs is realistic. I'm going to stick to my just little things like that. Just keeping up with everything. So did you do any of that stuff? I'm like, okay, I'm going to just kind of prep my goals throughout the early week.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of mine are just they mold as they go. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of my goals for this next year have already been in place, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So my running and things like that. So yeah, nothing really. I haven't done anything really differently since the first. Yeah, no, I haven't done too many changes yet.
And that's okay. If you live your life already in a productive type of way, you may not have to, right? For me, I'm just looking to add things to complement or to improve. But it's not all right, I got to do this by this certain date. I'm just trying to add more habits that I think are beneficial to the ones I've already got, which I'm still maintaining. Like the lesson plan thing. And that's lesson planning. I can do that anytime, right? I could, let's say it's busy. It's during the state championships. I'm in bed. Instead of scrolling, I can do a lesson planning, right? I'm on a plane on a trip. I'm stuck in the airport. Lesson planning. I've done so much programming when I've been on planes and in airports. It's actually my favorite place to program. Just I would consider if see they don't let you in there, but there's just something about a busy airport where you're just waiting and you can't escape and you have your headphones on and there's just all these people and you can just look up and see different scenes and stuff. It just really helps me focus. On a long layover, no problem. I will find things to do. I'll do a year's worth of barbell club programming in that 7-hour layover, or being on the flight. Just I don't know. I can really concentrate on a flight doing that stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Other people, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe.
But so for my quote goals, if I'm calling them goals, start lesson planning on Monday. The Bible study that I'm doing, it didn't start till Thursday, but there's a lot of front matter stuff in the beginning of the book. So I just read a page or two of that every day leading up to Thursday. That way, like, I'm getting in the habit of, like, I'm picking this thing up. I'm reading through it. Task is done for the day. And my steps, I want to get 10K steps in January every day. I started early to finish out the year strong, and to also find out in advance if this would be too much of a hassle or anything. Maybe I gotta just like the 1 punch challenge thing I was gonna do. Like, this is gonna be different. I can handle this one. But you know how miserable I would have been throughout December if I kept that going, because that 1 week that I did it was just, it was such a burden. I'm like, I don't want to go and do this again. But sometimes you just got to prep your goals. And I think people get really perfectionist about it. You can do that at any time, right? You set a goal for yourself. Maybe you want to do something in February. Maybe you want to start next week. Maybe it's better just to kind of on-ramp yourself into it and be like, you know what? These are the things I've written down that I want to do. I'm going to take the next week and I'm just going to practice them. I'm going to see where I can fit them in, you know, and I'm going to be realistic with it. Instead of setting my alarm for 5:30 a.m., let's set it for 7:30. Oh, I failed 7:30 a couple times in a row. How did I think 5:30 was going to be any better? You know, making changes like that and finding out what will work best. So now's the time of year for that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, you can look at it a few different ways. Like, people talk about, I feel like CrossFit's a little bit different, but like the busyness of these gyms and different things as the new year starts, because that's when everyone wants to start. And part of the reason that you might not be able to continue is because you're in this environment where you're like, it's so busy here. Like, is this something that I want to do? Like, can I do this 4 days a week? Where it's like, okay, try going 1 or 2 days a week to start off, and then maybe you'll be able to manage them by the time things kind of thin out or everyone gets back on a regular schedule. Because even with the way that the days worked out, it's like everyone's schedule has just been so off that, you know, you'll figure it out better. Like this past week, like you were saying, with New Year's Day being a Thursday, it felt like it was a Sunday, and then going to work on Friday felt like a Monday, but then we were also done and it was the weekend. And so I don't know. Yeah, just let yourself kind of ease into things before you just fully jump in.
Yeah, ease into them, because I mean, if you don't, that's definitely, you know, that's when you can start to get on yourself about like, well, I failed. Like, I was going to start on Monday and I was going to wake up at 5:30 a.m. I was going to eat chicken and broccoli 3 times a day. I was going to do all my meal prepping when I got home from work at 8 o'clock. I was going to work out, you know, in the morning and the PM, and just like, I have all these crazy things, these ideas, and I failed all of it. And now the week is ruined because I didn't get like the perfect like 7 out of 7. So now it's Tuesday and all right, I'll just try to restart next week. And then that's not going to happen, you know, because now you've had 6 days of doing whatever versus 6 days of practice. So it's best just to give yourself like that grace period. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do 1 of these, or I'm going to do 2 of these, or the realistic ones I'm going to do, you know, instead of prepping food for the week, when I get home from work, I'm going to make my breakfast for tomorrow. I'm going to just make sure I set myself up for success for tomorrow. Maybe it's breakfast and lunch, or I'm going to set my alarm so I have time to eat breakfast, but I'm going to make my lunch tonight, my sandwich, whatever it is. That way I'm not scrambling in the morning when I inevitably wake up late and all that other stuff, or just little things to start to build those habits. And then when you get good at doing that, then, okay, you know, I'm going to prep dinner too. I think I got some time. I'm enjoying being in the kitchen now. I've got a routine, you know, not everything takes 5 hours. Cause you ever do that when like you start cooking like a new thing and you don't have your process yet, and everything just dirty and takes forever. But then flash forward a couple of weeks later, you're like, oh, look at me. I'm cleaning as I go. After I'm done with this box of pasta, I put it away and everything's less chaotic. It takes time to get there, and to learn your own, you know, routine within your routines. So that's our public service announcement for the new year. And then figuring out strategies that will make you successful. Like with my Bible study thing, I read the first couple chapters they wanted you to read, and then after that, I saw the little thing on the Bible app where you can do the audio version, and I'm like, I've never really I never really used that, but I'm like, maybe I'll use it for this one. And I just push play. I put on a fancy voice, and I'm following along the words. But this is going by way faster than if I was just reading it myself. And and so now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use this tool for this study because why not? It's not my main study. I might as well listen. And it's not like I'm doing other things. I'm not going to wash the dishes and listen because there's things that you have to write down in your journal and everything. But so yeah, just figure out different tools to make you successful. So yeah, that's all we can do. So we have so many more days left in 2026. It's just gotten started, and you can start anytime. I know this is the magical time of year, and if you're not sure, ask a friend, ask a coach. Hey, how can I do this and build a realistic plan? And it's always amazing how, you and I have done this for so long now. It's like we know when we write something down, you're like, that's not realistic, Miguel. That's like you tell yourself, you're like, yeah. But it's like other people who they do this once a year, they just write things down, and it's just like, all right, we got to ramp up to that. It's going to take time. Just like with anything, you're not going to be perfect right away. Where do you think that comes from? Is that an ego thing where someone hasn't done XYZ for 10 years? They finally set like a New Year's resolution. Okay, I'm going to do XYZ. And then they expect themselves to be perfect and for things to go perfectly. And when they're not, they get frustrated and quit. Or just kind of get deflated. Where does that come from?
Honestly, I feel like it's more just poor planning or just not fully thinking it out. I'm even thinking about one of my goals is the sub 25-minute 5K. For a lot of people, even myself for a long time, the way I would work towards that is just by running a bunch of 5Ks. Knowing that, all right, the first one I run isn't going to be sub 25 minutes, but I'll just keep on running them until I get to this point. I was literally thinking about this on my last run, and the difference is it's the same thing with a back squat. If you wanted to max out your back squat, you can't just do a 1 rep max back squat every day and hope that's the most efficient way to get there. And I think a lot of people put these goals that are year-long goals, and they're like, all right, I'm just going to do the thing. I think going from 0 days in the gym a week to saying I want to go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week is insane. I have my 3 goals that I did, and each goal has 1 million bullet points under it, where it's in order for me to get here, I know that the process is going to be this, then plus this, then this, then this, then this. And then eventually you might also, I think it's part of it is you might get there after, instead of just all right, here's the goal. I'm going to just jump right into trying to do the thing. And when I get the goal, that'll just be one day where I'm good, this thing that I've been trying for forever, today's the day that it happened. So for me, I think it's just poor thought process on what that whole thing is going to mean.
Yeah, I think you're right in that regard. It's poor planning, like you said. It's not doing probably enough research on what it actually takes and what is all involved in the activity, and learning from others, when they're hey, it took me 7 years to be able to do this, or whatever it is. or like, let's say you want to lose a lot of weight, and just kind of reading the process and what it took for other people to do that, and then you expect it to be done by next week, or something unrealistic like that. And then I do think there is like a tinge of like, for some people, not all of them, ego and narcissism that kind of pop up into that too, on like, just in the way they expect things to happen from themselves. I have met through this long in my career, people who they just don't understand that like they're not good at something yet. They're like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm good at other things. People always tell me I'm the best, all this stuff. I should be able to do this right now. And then I'm like, no, but you need to practice this technique for some time. And they're like, you don't understand who I am. Like, they have like that main character energy. And boy, Miguel, those are the people that crash out the hardest. Like, because they don't confront reality, I think, that often, right? And people don't hold them accountable as often, because maybe the people around them have been like, oh God, here comes Miguel again. Or, no, you're doing great. Yeah, you're doing great. You're so good. All that stuff, and you're like, yeah, I am. And then you leave, and they're like, oh, good, all right, we didn't have to go through that today, right? Have you met those people?
I mean, I'm probably one of those people.
But I would say you're one of those people, but not like that.
It's a thin line. I'm not sure if you saw Marty Supreme.
No, not yet. I need to, though. I hear it's amazing. Is it? Is it good?
It's a similar idea of like, when is delusion not delusion?
Yeah.
And like, how much can you like bet on yourself and just know that you're like, okay, like, I understand that most people can't do this, but we're talking about me here. Like, I should be able to do this. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's like track record too, right? Where let's even like, I don't have these type of goals, but like, if my goal was like weight loss and like I wanted to lose 15 pounds in whatever time, I know that I could, purely based off the fact of like, I have done similar things in the past and I know what I would have to do to get there. No, I would not love it at all. Like, it would be the worst thing ever. But I could just do that. Or like, okay, for the most part, I've always been able to hit my goals. This one shouldn't be any different. I guess I'm more of like, I will get there eventually, versus like, I think I should have it right now. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. You should also watch the movie.
Yeah, I need to watch the movie. But also, it's like, I feel like there's some people like you still have to have a high belief in yourself to do things. Like, you still have to believe in yourself. You still have to know that if you put in your max effort, you can definitely get there. But there's definitely another tier of people that I don't think that you're quite on. Like, there's because there's the people that are like that and above that, but they're toxic, and they also eventually fail, and then they crash out, and then it's never their fault. It's always like, well, this person held me back, or this or that. They're the person that comes with excuses a lot too on why this is happening, or why they need to do something. It's like, no, I need to do it this way because it's me. I know this is the rule of the place. Oh, you said that the speed limit through town is 50 or is 30. Well, but you see, but I go 50. And I shouldn't have to pay that. Like, there's a certain kind of person that every now and then rears their ugly head. And the thing with you too is you have this quality about you, but if boundaries are put up in front of you, you will most likely respect them, right? This other person doesn't respect boundaries. That's when they have a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure you've met some people like that. But Yeah. Huh. So Marty Supreme is, I'm assuming it's about sports and obsession and chasing excellence, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, obviously, a lot happens in the movie. It's very chaotic, but
Oh,
honestly, at its core, I would say like that's it. In like, yeah, I think that's a good way to like leave it as like, yeah, that's a yeah,
hmm. Interesting. And I mean, there's good obsession and there's bad obsession. Obsession to a certain point, like essentially, eventually leads to pride, and which eventually leads to, other things.
right.
So
Yeah,
I
no,
wonder.
I mean the movie itself has created a very interesting like online discussion
Mhm.
about just like what we're talking about right now. Um, Obviously, everyone like knows that the main character isn't supposed to be like someone you're supposed to emulate per se, but there are pieces within the main character where they're like, huh, maybe if I was a little bit more like this in this respect, I would get to where I wanted to be. But obviously,
Yeah.
like there are things that he does that you're like, oh my gosh, that's the worst. Um, but
Mhm.
yeah, no, it's interesting.
All right. No, I need to see this movie. It's still out, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of slipped my radar. Well, everyone was talking about it, and then it still slipped my radar because I was like, I don't, 'cause I didn't know what it was about really, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a movie for me per se. I didn't realize it was a sports movie. It is a
Eh,
sports movie, right? Or not?
in a way, I guess.
Sports is there. It's in the mix.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. It's almost no, it's more. So it's the same one of the brothers that directed Uncut Gems.
Oh, okay.
Um, so it's that same style of movie.
Yeah.
Um, like in the way that like is Uncut Gems about basketball? Like no. Um, but this one is more like the main character is playing a sport
Hmm.
in trying to become like the best at the sport. So yeah.
Got it. Uncut Gems was a stressful movie. It was a good movie, great movie.
It's
Um,
it's about the same. Maybe this one is a little bit less stressful,
mhm.
but
Okay.
it might be the same. It depends on who
No,
you ask.
yeah. No, I'll check it out. I will check it out. Um, so we're about to embark on week one for the Barbell Club training. That's exciting. New training cycle, and we tested out something on Friday with on skills that we're going to see kind of pop up in the movement prep or the warm up, so to say. We just went heavy on dumbbell snatches, full snatches with a full squat, and dumbbell clean and jerks. And we're going to start to use those a little bit in kind of our warm ups. Where maybe we have a sequence of exercises we're going to go through. We did in our warm up before that to get ready for those. We did dumbbell overhead squats, and that was hard, really hard for people.
Mhm.
Just using 15 pounds. So the like light weights for people who can typically overhead squat, way, way more than that with a barbell. 15 pounds was humbling people per side. And it was also kind of exposing imbalances and weaknesses that we got to
Yeah.
bring up. And what way can we bring them up then to do something like that and try to get that position even better? So we're going to do stuff like that. And it might be in a sense of like, let's say on Mondays, we're not doing clean and jerks. Well, we might do some split jerks with dumbbells in the movement prep. So we're still warming up our shoulders, practicing another skill. And that gets you kind of like a third quote day of clean and jerks or snatches when it's not
Mhm.
really on the main menu. Or on
Yep.
Wednesday when we're doing cleans and jerks and front squats, we'll do dumbbell snatches and dumbbell overhead squats and stuff like that. So yeah, it's something I've been thinking about actually for years. I've wanted to incorporate like a dumbbell specific thing in our programming for a long time. There was a time that I was kind of like, brainstorming around well, what if we went like heavy on dumbbell snatch and then went heavy on barbell snatch? So it's like, because the weight is like a fraction of what you're going to do on the barbell, even though it feels heavy. And it's going to get like all those deep little intricate muscles and ligaments and everything that have to stabilize and hit them differently. For people who are still working on it, or anyone in general, you have to have an efficient bar path, quote, on the dumbbell that you can get away with not having on a barbell to a certain point. Like it only goes up one way. Like try swinging it around there and not having it tear your arm off when it falls back behind you.
Yeah.
And like I explained to them on Friday, you cannot wait for the dumbbell. On a bar, you can make contact, you can get that lightless feeling, and then you can get to the bottom and like straighten your arms and kind of wait to feel it. And that's when you see like a lot of like soft lockouts and stuff. But you can't do that with the dumbbell. If you wait for the dumbbell, it's just not going to go where it needs to go, and it will just fall forward. You have to actively pull. So those were the benefits that I thought we could get out of a dumbbell snatch before doing a barbell snatch: flexibility, stability, mobility, a bar path prep, and pull prep on just being active through the lockout, and each side independently of the other. Because boy, do things change when you lock in both hands. And it does it ever surprise you how much your quote good side can actually carry your quote backside? On just like, I'm going to save both of us right now. I know this is like a crazy heavy weight, but I'm going to do it for both of us. You just got to do a little bit. Are you ever surprised by the body's ability to do that?
Yeah, it's interesting because when they're moving together, you can, if you have, I think through us doing Olympic lifting, like we're able to kind of understand that more than I guess the average person. But yeah, then when you break it down like per move and per side, you're like, even imagining it sometimes, just putting the idea in my head, I'm like, I already know I can't do that on my left side.
Yeah.
Just thinking about moving that side by itself, I already know that I won't be able to. If you go back to Shatter Slam that me and Mike did with the kettlebell, like overhead lunges, I did them all on my right side.
Well, oh, you're right. Yeah.
Because it would not have even made sense. Like if I was doing like a workout or like I'm training, that's when you do both sides, because you're like, okay, I should get some work in on this side, even if it's going to take a lot longer. It would have taken me so much longer that in this competition, if you asked me to do, if the conditions were, okay, you either have to split the reps, or if you do them on one side, you have to do 15 more. I would choose the 15 more just to keep it on that right side.
Yikes.
And it like varies throughout time, where I'm like, other times I'm like, okay, like the left side can be better, but it depends on the movement too, because of like my shoulders do different things on different sides. My hips are a little bit different, but yeah. We kind of see it with like how I land and like my snatches just with a barbell and what the body does and my pulling. But yeah, when you really have to go one side and then the other, you can really see just how different it is.
It's crazy. And also think about just not even just the physical like strength, that if you brought that up, like if you have to do them all on one side and you can't do them at all on the other side, or you can't even conceive of it, then you've got 100% and 0%, or 110 and 20% of strength over here. But if you brought this up just a little bit, that should open up a whole new world. But also there's the mental, psychological strength of it too, on just like, I can't even, and we saw some of that on like moving the dumbbell to the other side on Friday and being like, wait, this is like so unknown. This is like now, like I have to take a leap without being able to see where I'm going to land first type of a deal.
Yeah.
And so just opening up that mental ability too, and being aware in those positions, or even just showing yourself, look, you can do it. And we did have some situations where, like Schaff, he has his left side lockout issues, and he was able to overcome them after a little bit on the dumbbell snatches, on just getting the bar back into a better place so he can do it. And a lot of times when you see Schaff lift a snatch, what happens? Right arm locked out, left arm just stops right here.
Yeah.
Just doesn't pull it all. And that might be a strength thing, or it might be like he doesn't even want to continue and try doing it. And he doesn't know that in the moment because there's no time to think about it. It's just a trained habit of doing it. It was that one time it hurt, and it's stiff and stuff all the time and whatnot. So it's like, I can't even think about putting it back there, so I won't. But then repeatedly not doing it makes it worse, because now I'm always catching things here with the lighter weights, and that's just beating up my shoulder instead of going for the full range of motion. So there's so many elements to it, that you just have to show yourself, no, you can do it, and it's okay. Because if your brain and nervous system don't think you can do it, it will try to stop you from doing it for safety. So, but if you can open that up and show, hey, we're safe, all of a sudden your brain will be like, oh, then you can do that. Fine. And you're like, hey, we could have done that the whole time. And your brain's like, yeah, we could have, Miguel. And you're like, but I hurt my shoulder so many times, but you didn't do that other thing, right? See, I think of everything, don't I? And you're like, I thought we were a team. And it's like, no, I decide things without asking you from time. It's like there's this whole thing with your brain back and forth on just like decisions are being made, and it's solely so that you can live, because your brain and your nervous system has no concept of snatch and clean and jerk. It's only like, oh, we're fighting for our life right now. Shut that down. We don't want that to happen. Meanwhile, you need it to happen. And then you're on stage and your elbow bends and you're like, and then you're all sad, like I didn't podium, I didn't get the PR, and your brain's like, you're welcome, I did that for us. Isn't it such a funny thing?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't take, like you said, it doesn't take much for the body to just go, all right, fine, if we're doing it, then you can do it. Like, even I think my, I guess, stagnation with my back squats was, I think, a lot to do with just needing to do more unilateral movements, because it's again, my hip and different things with that. And then we were doing a lot of single leg work. And then when we started squatting again, it was like, oh, everything's fine. Because I probably just fully was not using one side when squatting.
And are you talking back to when we started doing the Bulgarian squats and stuff in the off season? Well, and if you remember Miguel back then's protest to doing that stuff. It's like, you didn't even no, this isn't for me. Maybe I should do something else, right? Because you didn't want it, that path is it's all dark and shady and there's bushes all over, and you're gonna have to go through the branches and everything. You're like, I don't know what's in there. I don't want to find out what's in there. But then you did, and it opened up a whole new thing, right? Yeah.
So I assume that the overhead with these dumbbells will probably do something similar.
I think so. Boy, you should have heard the belly aching from some peeps. Boy, oh boy. But you know what? They'll get stronger.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing, and it won't always be the same. It could this first week it might very even be do a muscle snatch into an overhead squat, and then that's one rep, bring it back down, and you're just working on not early arm bending, like hips then arms, and then you're working on getting into a nice stable squat. And the way I programmed them was tempo dumbbell overhead squats. I don't want any interpretation that this is a WOD right now, that you're just get them done as quickly as possible. That's not what I want. I want you to go nice and slow and grease that groove. If you remember, we talked about that, I think, over the summer with Pablo Sasselin, just greasing the groove. And there's a perfect concept for this. Like if you had like a little dumbbell in your apartment, it doesn't have to be any weight at all. It could be 5 pounds. And you just like every on the hour did 5 like smooth, perfect dumbbell one arm overhead squats per side with a tempo pause. And you're not looking for any deviation of where you should be. And you did that all throughout the day for like imagine like the benefits would definitely like open up. Because it doesn't have to be crazy heavy and strenuous all the time. You have different methods that you can use to improve things. But then when you try to go crazy heavy on like a regular overhead squat, all of a sudden you're gonna be like, I don't know what's happening right now, but this feels like it's never felt before. And I just added 50 pounds to my PR.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we're gonna do stuff like that. We got the new training cycle coming out, which is also gonna have a lot of pauses, a lot of different things going on in there. So I'm excited for it. It's gonna be good. Now I sent you an article here. It's a quick one. So what do you think about this article? It is called, I gotta pull it up. It's called Interval Generator. Can you see this?
Yep.
And it's a CrossFit Journal article from June 2003 by Greg Glassman. And it's super duper short. And it's just an idea and concept for programming intervals using dice. I thought I don't think I've ever seen this one before, but it just randomly popped up for me. And I was like, what a great idea. And it has me wanting to get like a set of dice. And let's say if I'm just bored and I want to do like some hollow rocks and stuff, well, how long should we go for? Like sometimes you end up picking the same things all the time. Mm-hmm. But if you leave it up to the dice on like or like chance like this, you're going to get variety, one, and you're also going to end up doing things that you definitely normally wouldn't have, you know? So what were your thoughts reading through this?
Yeah. Like I said, we did an interval workout last Sunday and I really liked it. Yeah, I think interval work itself is just it's such a simple way to just putting in good work. Yeah, I don't, the role of the die, I think is interesting. I think it's maybe one of those things where as CrossFitters, we're very much like, make it as variable as possible or like as random as whatever. But I even thought about this in terms of when we went over programming in the level 2, that like spreadsheet where you could mark like hinging versus this versus that. And you could probably do the same thing with the interval generator. Just kind of mark so that you're not doing like the same type of thing over again.
So you mean like have the die number equivalent to a movement or a movement pattern?
Right. Or even like the work rest in number of intervals. Just been like, okay, maybe I've done a couple that are, 10 working sets in 5 resting sets or whatever. So I'll switch it up and I'll do, 15 and I'll do 1-to-1 work rest ratio this time with this many. So I don't think it necessarily has to be a die, but I think if you want something like quick and just like guaranteed variable, or random, I guess is more of what I'm thinking here, then the dies work well.
Yeah, I think like you're bored, or it's like Sunday, and you're like, what am I gonna do? I want to do something. Just like I could just see myself grab, like just chuck them on the table. All right, there we go. do it again. All right. And just write down those numbers and be like, well, let's do it, kind of a deal. And the thing with intervals is they can be for intensity and hard training, and they can also be for skills practice too, on just a way to organize it and accumulate volume. Like, all right, every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, you're going to do 5 pull-ups because you're working on your pull-ups. And that's going to be 50 pull-ups across 10 minutes without like the fatigue coming in of losing the ability to do them. You're going to have that little bit of rest. But then there's like classic, like in CrossFit benchmarks, like Chelsea, every minute on the minute for 30 minutes, you're going to do a round of Cindy, 5, 10, 15 pull-ups, push-ups, air squats. That's the intensity is going through the roof on that one. And a lot of people don't make it through that whole thing where you are trying to get the work done in 40-ish seconds. So you have about 20 seconds to work. Within the minute, that's a 2-to-1 work-rest ratio. And if you go above that, it gets brutal. Just turns into an AMRAP essentially. Let me read this real quick, just so we have if someone's just listening, they know what's going on with these numbers. I do like the opening line here. There are no bad intervals, only weak efforts. I like this right here. Only weak efforts. I was talking about this a little bit on Friday, and this is essentially, if you think about the way we're going to be structuring the barbell club programming with, all right, you have 15 minutes. You could get 5 sets or 5 attempts if you do a set every 3 minutes, right? You could get 7 if you do every 2 minutes. If you go 90 seconds, you're going to get more, right? And some days you might feel like doing more, and other days you might feel blah, right? And you do less. But it's all about your own effort. Like, what will you get out of this is solely determined by you now instead of me. Because the way we were doing it last year, recently, you would get your warm-up sets and you would get your work sets. I'm determining your effort, or at least your workload for the day. Now, each of you in the barbell club has 100% control over that. And it puts the responsibility on you, right?
Yeah. I think even like you're saying, like you choose the amount of sets. Let's say you do on a certain day just so many less than whoever got the most, right? And is it because you were just taking your time or on your phone or whatever, or like how much mental strength are you putting into every set to like, okay, I'm taking this long because I'm really like, it's mentally draining because I'm trying to like get each one of these reps perfect, or I'm thinking about focusing on these things and I want to make sure that I'm hitting it right every single time. So there's that effort there as well. But then, there's the weak effort of like, I can just, this weight is fine. I can do average number of sets and not even care. And again, that's like a day-to-day variable. So maybe we just bumped up a couple kilos from the last time. And, you that day specifically, you're like, I probably could go 9 sets. And you're like, but I'll do 5 because I always do 5. Like, that's also an example of weak effort where it's like, all right, you typically do 5 sets, but today you feel great. Doesn't it make sense to do a little bit more instead of just continuing to fall back?
Yep. Like to fall into a routine would be a mistake. Like, just like, well, what did I do last week? Okay, I'll just do that again. And to not use it when you've got it. Frank and I used to train like this a lot. When I would call him and, all right, what are we doing today? Well, let's go heavy on X, right? And we're going to do doubles today. And we would typically aim for 10 sets because we knew that the volume would be 20 total reps. So that's just what we were going for that day. The next time, if it was triples, we might still go for 10 sets, or maybe the week before was triples. So that's 30. And the rest is different between all those. So like we used to just kind of go by feel and go for volume and get a lot of reps in, while still also going heavy. But even with this, like if let's say if I was in the barbell club back in the day, I would certainly have times where I would go for like maybe like on this volume, and it would almost be loading the next weight was the rest. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like all right, we did 95 pounds on a snatch. Let's put on 115. Well, that was all that time getting the weights and putting it on there. I'm going now. I'm going again, because that was time I wasn't doing a snatch. Like I was just doing another thing, but I don't need to sit down and rest 2 minutes now. And then I would, and then so loading the weight was always the rest. I'm doing another set in and kind of front load volume in the beginning, and then more rest comes when the weights get heavier later on. Versus I'm going to hit 40 and sit down for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to hit 50 and sit down for 2.5 minutes because I was on my phone for a little bit. And like you see how there's a lot of wasted time there. And you guys, some of you guys do this naturally. Where I think you and Shaf do this specifically, where you guys will blitz through the warm ups and then rest more later.
Yeah, typically, like you said, if we're doing warm up sets, I will most likely do the thing where as I'm adding weight, that is my rest. If I'm able to put on, especially if it's just change plates, just add on change plates and then step behind my bar and then go again, like I will opt for that. Because again, like I know that I'll want that time mentally for like the heavier sets to like really make sure that I'm hitting things the way I want to. Because the worst thing that happens, honestly, beyond missing a weight, is that you get to those heavier weights and you make it, but it doesn't feel great. So then you're like, all right, I got to sit here a little bit longer and really like mentally recover and physically recover to make sure that this next one isn't a miss. So it's good to like build up that time early on, and then again, like then you're just changing your timing as you get into working sets. So going a little faster when you're able to, and then really giving yourself the proper amount of time as it gets a little bit heavier.
Yeah. What we are diving into now with the program is how do you auto-regulate? How do you do this as the athlete yourself? If you always have to have it written down, it has to always be this sequence. You have to be you it's all dictated towards you. Then you'll never be a free athlete, right? You'll never be able to think for yourself and make decisions on your own. And it could be you come in one day, let's say you're like, oh, I'm just not feeling today. Like your triathlon training is catching up, work is crazy, it's the end of the month, all these things, right? And you're like, let me just put 40 on, just see how 40 feels. And then you're like, you know what? It's not going to be a day where I see myself hitting this upper limit, but I can still move. Until time runs out, I'm going to make X type of jumps. I would normally make a 10 kilo jump now. I'm going to make 4 kilo jumps and keep climbing, and pretty much just putting on the next weight is my my rest. And they're weights that are so light, you can still dial in your technique, but and as fatigue comes, you can still hold your technique, and you might get a little out of breath, and it almost turns into a little bit of an AMRAP, where let's say it's like 30-ish seconds of like getting the weight, you'll go get your water, and then you're stepping right back in and do another set. And all that volume builds up, but you might finish that session being like, I feel good after this. Like I did work. Sometimes it feels good to do work like that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I used to do all the time. Like, I mean, we didn't have kilo plates. So like, I'm going to go up by 5 pounds every single jump. And then after a while, you either run out of time, or it's like, okay, I only made it up to, let's say 115 or 125 or 135 for the day, but I did so many reps, and I wouldn't have done that amount of work if it was a day I was feeling good, where I'm just going to make boom, 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 my normal bigger jumps, and they were most likely singles. But on those days, it's appropriate for that day. On this other day, this is what's appropriate. And the other option would be, I'm not going to do anything today, which I didn't take as that many. When you're doing it 6 days a week, it's a little bit different as well. The program was different, but the concept remains the same, right? On just like being able to make those decisions for yourself, and so it's like, I don't know, does it, the programming, the way it's written, it looks very open-ended and vague, because yes, it is. This is how all of you in the group can start to learn, and some of you are already good at this, so you can sharpen it, how to auto-regulate and be self-sufficient. And I had another thing I lost with that. Auto-regulate, be self-sufficient. And individualize your own. Do individualized training, essentially, without me writing a separate program for everyone in the room.
Right.
Which no one in the room needs that. Like everyone in the room needs to work, needs to pick up the bar and do stuff. No one is at a certain point where they need specialized exercises, sets and reps, and outside of being injured or having a limitation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're going to do something different today. Here's what it is. No one needs that. So we can still follow a group training program while also having those elements of auto-regulating your own training, being self-sufficient, and doing essentially an individualized version of the group program, because you, the athlete, decide what that's going to be. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
we'll see how it goes, but yeah.
Yeah. The closest we've been to doing something like this before, outside of like, okay, you got 15 minutes to go heavy. Well, everyone's trying to go heavy, but this is a little bit different focused. Is when we've done like the choose your own adventure programming, build your complex, or how many reps and everything you're gonna do. Which I still like that. I think that's a cool. It's a fun novelty thing to do. Maybe I should bring that back for an off season, like a mid-year off season where we're still snatching clean jerk, but it's like build your own little thing, And it has different components, because you might be like, I want to work on my shoulder overheads, and someone else might be like, I want to work on my pulls. Well, you pull from that category, you pull from that category, but we're all still just snatching, Yeah. To think about that for later in the year. So back to this article here. There are no bad intervals, only weak efforts. Variety and intensity will ultimately determine preparedness. Here's a scheme to give variance to your anaerobic work. Intervals generated by this experiment will certainly be anaerobic, yet are certain to pack a substantial aerobic punch if you go long enough. Play with these intervals before or after your regular workouts or on rest days. Roll a single die or 3 dice, and for the first roll, multiply the number by 10 for the work interval. Then roll the second die and multiply by 5 for the rest interval. Roll again and multiply by 2 for the number of intervals. And there's a little chart here where if you roll a 1 on the first roll, then that's going to be 10 sets. If you roll a 1 on the second roll, that's going to be 5. What is that? 5 seconds? What is this? Multiply the interval for the rest interval. Where am I getting lost in this now? The number of intervals, 2 intervals.
I kind of interpreted it as like more of a ratio. So like, let's say it is.
Is this first?
On
is that 10 seconds?
It depends. Like that's the thing. I think it depends on what you're already choosing it to be. So
Mhm.
I'm looking at the work to rest as like a ratio. So if you do roll the 1 for both of those, essentially your ratio is like 2-to-1 work to rest, no matter what it is, I
Uh-huh.
guess. So like if you wanted to do, let's say like it's so like let's say it is the rowing workout that I had, and let's say we're only going to do 30 seconds of rowing um every minute. If you rolled ones across the board, you would do 10 sets of 30 seconds of rowing. Your rest would be half of that. So you're working for 30 seconds. So I guess it wouldn't be the minute of rowing, but like you'd be rowing for 30 seconds, then you're resting for 15 seconds, then rowing again for 30 seconds. And if you were to roll a 1 again for the number of intervals, you would just do 2 of those. But yeah, I was thinking that too, because I'm like, timing wise, if you're doing like something that's timed, I'm not sure like how
I
to
think
do the multiplier. But yeah,
I
I think
think
it
I
is like
had
a ratio.
I think I had interpreted this looking at the bottom as like, oh, you're going to do 10 60-second rounds and
Right.
then you're going to rest 30 seconds, but that says times 5. But then you're going to okay, if you rolled 6 times 5 is 30, so that's 30 seconds. 6 times 10 is 60, so that's 60 seconds. So you are going to work for a minute, rest 30 seconds. 6 times 2 is 12. You're going to do 12 intervals of that. But
Yeah.
this is the
If
first
that's
time I
the
tried to
style
do
of
it
like thing that you're
with this
doing.
first one. Yeah. Cuz like okay, 10 seconds of okay. Well, I guess this one is just a lame workout if you do it that way because it's 10 seconds of work, 5 seconds of rest for 2 intervals. So rowing all ones sucks, right? Like
I guess it depends on what it is, because I mean, it doesn't have to be seconds of work. Like,
oh yeah, for like doing reps in 10 seconds. It
right.
could be you could make one of these like a whole like 60-second. Oh, but then that's still working for 10 seconds.
Because I'm even thinking of like a run. If you make that 10 equal 10K, if you go whatever I roll, that is 1K. And you do, all right, I rolled a 1 times 10, that's a 10K. And then again, you get the rest. So you're like, all right, I'm going to, again, like a ratio thing, I guess. If
Or
you
if
want to
that's
do like
10
one.
minutes and then 5
Right.
minutes of
Yeah.
rest and then do
You
that.
can make it
Yeah.
depending on the movement that you're doing and like what fits best, like reps and stuff as well.
I feel like this article should be a little longer, more examples. Come on, Greg.
Yeah.
like
Well, that's also why I was thinking of like the level 2 like checkbox type of deal, because yeah, I was like, depending on what it is, you'll have to kind of change the units a little bit
yeah.
to make that work. Because yeah,
Well, I
you
mean
can make
this
that the ones across the board still terrible.
yeah. I mean this is a perfect example of like okay, he doesn't have to give a lot of examples because like that's also not the CrossFit way. The CrossFit way is like here is the baseline. It's like when we come in tomorrow, you have 15 minutes to do power snatch doubles. Well, how many sets should we do? How heavy should we go in percentage? What about this? What about that? Yes. The answer is yes. It is whatever you decide to do in this time, right? It's just like when there's the Donnie Schenkel story when he came to training and Ivan Abaziev was there and he said, Coach, what are we doing today? And then Abaziev said, I don't know. What can you do today? And it's like, all right, I guess I'll just go over here and start snatching. Yeah, probably a good idea. Like, all right, if you were like, oh, my shoulders, and you went to the squat rack, I guess that's what you can do today. Like it really is that simple. in the grand scheme of things. It's crazy how complicated we make things as coaches and programmers. And it frustrates people when it really is that simple.
Yeah.
Well, because they want it to be something else. It's kind of like that meme of the guy going through the jungle and he finds the treasure chest and it has the scroll with the meaning of life. And then he opens it up and it's not what he wanted the answer to be. So he crumples it up and throws it. You ever see that meme? And it's like, yes, it really is that easy. Hey, how do I get better at snatching? Oh, you should snatch more often. Better than you already do. That is the answer. And then you could take that and like write this crazy convoluted program that like gets so far away from even being about the snatch. Like you can have all these flexibility and prep exercises over here, crossover symmetry, things that you would only ever see in a physical therapy office. You can have all these special exercises and a 14-minute progression, and then special mobility exercises and banded exercises and all these things. Then you got to have your movement primers where I'm going to do this before I snatch. And then you know what? The people that are beating you aren't doing any of that. The people that are getting gold medals and are in the history books didn't do any of that. It didn't. Yep. And of course, they're like, some of them are like freak athletes. You've got like Pocket Hercules. Did you see that photo of his jerk I posted in the Barbell Club group? Yeah. What a beautiful jerk position. Holy crap. Like,
well, I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
it does.
He can't do that if it's not perfect.
But it's like, you can, so it is perfect because that's what he had to do. But there will still be people that take that and be like, now look, class, you see the midline here, and you see how his knee is shifted forward here, and be like, yeah, that's what the textbook says, and that's what biomechanics says, and we're all trying to get as close as possible. But that stuff doesn't happen. Ain't no one does it. No one who's strong does. Isn't that the weird thing when you look at some of these things that you're like, wait a minute, but no one who's actually strong does it that way or does it. You ever like see that and maybe you'll find things like that in like the like endurance sports where you're like, wait a minute. But no one who actually wins does that. It's a really interesting thing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's the stuff with like body proportions and all that and whatnot. But yeah, there's a difference between like how, again, I guess it's like for now, I would go, information is so readily available that I guess it's easier to teach like, this is the safest way, protect these things at all time. Because someone like me who's like, again, I wouldn't even say I'm like veteran to it, but it's like I've been training for a while. I know to take all those things with a grain of salt. So I know like, all right, but like I always say, like when I joke around with like deadlifts and I'm like, all right, use your back like a little. Like the reality is like your back is going to round a little if the weight is heavy enough, but there's a way to do it effectively. But
if you look at a diagram of what muscles the deadlift works, it works the back, including the lower back. The problem is there's so much connective tissue all throughout the lower back and not enough muscles that doesn't get good blood flow. So it gets really, really stiff and it doesn't recover as well as, let's say, your quads, because you're walking around. They're just naturally just pumping blood. Couple of days, they recover. Meanwhile, your back is like because it's just connective tissue. And if you look at like high level powerlifters, they will purposely round their thoracic spine.
Exactly.
No, but I'm sure it's happened, but I've never heard a story of someone blowing a disc in their T-spine doing that, but they still maintain the lumbar spine because like not losing the lumbar spine is a non-negotiable. And if you remember the sequence of joints, the joint by joint approach, well, the hips should be mobile, the lumbar spine should be stable, the thoracic spine should be mobile. cervical spine should be stable. You don't want this thing flying around. So it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But people will see them rounding and be like, look at that bad posture on the deck. You never want to do it that way. And that guy's like, yeah, okay, I'll just take the gold medal and the $500,000 prize and be okay after it and whatnot.
So again, I think the thing is because so many people learn off of the internet.
Yeah.
It's almost like, all right, don't do all these things because that's how Lasha does it. Lasha is Lasha. So
yeah,
in order to keep you safe, person who just started and is who will easily get swayed by something that they see on the internet and try to change everything, let's just keep it at like, here are the shapes that I would like you to make before you start doing things that are maybe you don't fully understand yet. So I think maybe that's the reason that they have to like cut everything into pieces, because they want to be like, all right, I know you're seeing this, but it doesn't mean exactly you should be doing this. You should be going for this. And then as you progress, you realize that like, all right, it doesn't have to be that rigid.
Yes. And I can definitely agree with that. And it brings us back to the beginning of what we were talking about. You're going to be trying all 50 of these things on Monday, and you haven't practiced and gotten time to figure out what it is you need to do to be capable of being successful in the kitchen, to meal prep on a Monday night at 8:00. You haven't even prepped your lunch for tomorrow yet and been successful with that 7 times in a row. So it's like, we need you to learn how to deadlift to keep a completely flat back, because you don't know how to keep your midline braced. You don't know how to not lose your lumbar spine. So we can't even talk about letting the shoulders round as like a technique or something like that. You don't know how to move your hips. You don't know how to keep pulling on the bar when it starts to feel hard. When it starts to feel hard, you'll just let go because you'll get scared or you'll think you can't do it. You don't know that like it's still moving and I'm just going to have to grind it out. And this is going to be the hardest 5 seconds of my life today. And my face is all red. You don't know that yet. You don't have that experience and wisdom under your belt. So it wouldn't make sense to teach, again, advanced techniques before you've even learned how to make a sandwich for tomorrow, Yeah. So it does make sense. And that's where weightlifting gets really crazy, I think, because there are so many advanced drills that people have. They're like beginner athletes. And there's like a debate on like, when are you not a beginner anymore? And it's like, some people are like, 0 to 6 months and whatnot. And then you get to like shed the dead skin of being a beginner. And you're like, I look at that. I'm a part of the club, boys. Or after you do your first meet. And it's like, no freaking way. I think it's way longer than that. I think some people are just, you are going to be a perpetual beginner forever, because the things to get to the next level are vast. There was a long period of time where I considered many of you in the club beginner intermediates, if that makes sense. Like you weren't full beginners anymore, but you're like beginning to be an intermediate athlete. You're doing so many competitions. You're becoming well-rounded in your technique. Your technique is pretty set, but you have the understanding of how to change and adjust it. You know the rules of the sport, all these things. And then after that is like a full intermediate athlete. And then a lot of people won't advance beyond that. And then I think there's like in between steps. It's not just beginner, intermediate, advanced. You got to have your beginner, intermediate, your intermediate to advanced. And then there's advanced, which, okay, are you full-time athlete? Are you still trying to work a job? But some people that like, I want to be advanced because, again, it's me. I should get the title and label and like put the little thing on my lapel, advanced. And that means I'm better than all of you and stuff like that. It's like, no, you're still a beginner, dude. It's like, but I guess, and there's really no reason to get caught up in like classifications or labels and whatnot. It's like, just do the thing and do it really, really well and make progress. but yeah, that's a thing too. And that guides people to making decisions on when they're like, all right, I don't know why you're doing that exercise. That exercise got popular because this Olympic champion, one of the greatest of all times, did it for a period in the 80s to bring up his lifts a little bit. And now everyone's like, this is what we got to do to get better. And it's like,
exactly.
I don't know. He was already legendary before he started to do that. And he was also doing it in ways that you'll never conceive doing it, of like obscene weights and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think trainers and like, I guess influencers or people on the internet, they have to make things look sexy. They have to. If you put down just the basic thing of it, it doesn't look sexy anymore. And then people who don't know any better don't want to do it.
Especially if they see every page doing the same exact thing, which is the reality of like, really, everyone is doing these same basic things. Then it's like, oh, then why should I follow your page? I'm already following this other page that does the same exact thing. So now they're like, all right, I have to create another exercise, or even go into like their specialized thing. Like even like the stretches that I do before training. Not everyone in Barbell Club needs to do those stretches, because that's for very much like a me specific, like, oh, this helps me feel this a little bit more before we start moving. It wouldn't make sense for every single person to do that, because for some, they're like, yeah, it doesn't really do much of anything for me. Now you're just wasting time. So it's the same thing where it's like, it's online and people are like, oh, yeah, this is something that now joins the grouping of just things you have to do, when that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder too if it of course. So I wonder, would the training landscape of coaches and athletes be 100% better and produce? So here's a theoretical question for you. Would it produce better athletes if it wasn't like people weren't following pages and following coaches because of like this nuance or fancy thing on the programming that really doesn't really apply to anybody, like we've been talking about, right? Or it was more of like, all right, the coach connection, because that's the most important. That's way more important than the programming.
Yeah.
Can this person actually get you to do the things, and you have that relationship? If it was somehow based on the coach themselves, and not just like resume or anything like that, like just like, I guess like personality and relationship building and stuff like that, and the programming stuff second, do you think it would be a better landscape and produce better athletes? Because
I think so.
My thought in it is that it would save some people the time of signing up for XYZ programming and doing this BS and being like, I didn't like that lady or that guy or whatnot, and then just perpetually bouncing around to coach to try to find their person, and wasting time or burning out and just stopping it all together.
Right. Yeah, and I would even say, I was going to bring this up in relation to like the intervals, but I was even thinking about like the bingo cards that we had, that we just did at the gym. And I was thinking about all the people, like, because I would like close the book if I was like about to start coaching and like whatever. And I would like look at like, oh, all the hangs that people are doing, all the like basic, very just basic things that I'm like, man, how much better would I be if I was doing that? Like just again, like the most basic things, but it's like, we want to go on to this next part or this next thing where it's like, same thing with coaching. And they said at the level 2, where it's like, yeah, here are it's seeing, teaching, correcting. Like, you don't need much beyond that. Like if you master this and you continue to go using this philosophy, like that's what it is. And it's like, same thing with weightlifting, like the building blocks are there. If you master those things, and I say master with like quotes, because, you're always going to need to work at them, then you really don't have to worry too much about the other things. Or when you're able to say, I have mastered these things, I need to get 1-2% more out of this, that's then when you break certain other things down and you go, all right, could we make your shoulders a little bit more whatever here? Then let's see what we can do. But so many people are like jumping into these programs where it's like, I'm going to use the Bosu ball because that's the thing that everyone always attacks. But yeah, like, do I need to do the single leg Bosu ball, bamboo bar, earthquake squats as just a regular Wednesday thing if that's not even something that I need? Just because it's like, yeah, that's one of the staples in this programming here.
I've been seeing a lot of that recently on my feed. I don't know why, of people doing the tsunami bar presses or squats with it. And like, I just can't think to myself, I can't think to myself of any like champion from like the 80s and 90s in any of this stuff that would do that or need that. And also it's like, couldn't you just be getting better at pressing and increasing that raw strength, or better at your handstands? And like, how good is your handstand? Like, if you're a CrossFit athlete and you're doing that for overhead stability and to affect the handstand, can you hold a 10-minute freestyle handstand like Dave Durante? And like, I mean, you could probably argue that dude doesn't need to do any overhead work. He regularly holds 10 minutes in the handstand. And it's like, that's incredible. Or it's like what Glassman has said in past articles. If you can hold a 3-minute L-sit, no ab exercise will be a problem for you. Like, if you have that. So are you working on your L-sits? Like, do you think so I've been seeing people do stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, that looks cool and sexy. And it's like, okay, you see the like professional CrossFit athletes and some weightlifters do it, but then I'll see like people doing it and I'm like, man, you should not be doing this. Like, you can't even keep your midline stable while that's going on. And why in the world would you do that if you weren't squeezing your midline like crazy and it's like a rock and the stability work is here instead of like your hips and everything are shaking? I'm like, boy, you don't need that. But your coach is trying to keep you on the hook and keep you entertained. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think, I wonder, do you think that that's a hidden key for these CrossFit athletes? I don't think any CrossFit Games athletes right now on the current roster could hold a 10-minute freestanding handstand. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say no. I don't know if they've tried.
They've done it as events.
On like for time?
No. Yeah.
How far did they get? Anyone get 5 minutes at least?
I want to say I remember seeing maybe like in the 6s. Like, people were definitely like, you could tell that like some people, they still got that skill, which a lot of people are like former gymnasts, but like you can tell like some people like, I still got it. And then some people do it differently and whatever. But yeah.
Now, what did it look like? Was it like all like, I'll balance my legs any which way?
So that's the thing. It depends. Again, there are some people who it's like, you can tell that they're like full on. When we used to do these as gymnasts, this is how I did them. There are also the people who like did the like knees bent and just balance type deal. Or like some people who started one way and then went into the other because it's like, all right, this is for competition. But yeah, I want to say, I think they've done it again since, but they definitely did it in 2020. That initial like, here's the pre-games to find the top 5 who's going to Carson. Yeah, so I know that they did it in 2020. And I think they've done it since in like even maybe quarterfinals.
I'm pulling up a video here just so we can see what he looks like when he's doing it. Because I'm not sure if you've seen Dave Durante do this. So Dave Durante. Oh, okay. So this is 5 years ago. Men's event winner Noah Elson.
That is very different from the numbers that I said then. I could have swore it was longer, but that does seem right. Also,
well, that was the 2020 CrossFit Games. Now,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty sure he's going to hold it for 10 minutes. And if not in this video, he has definitely done 10 minutes. He's known for that. Look at this position.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. If you can do this, like look at his lockout on his elbows. Ooh, bending a little bit there. Look at his shoulders. Look at he's keeping a nice tight body. Like this is like the gold standard, or should be like what they're looking for. So Noah Elson won the men's division with a 1 minute 37-second time. Katrine, David's daughter, dominated with a total of 2:54. That's not that bad. 2 minutes 54. Dave Durante, 2008 Olympic team member, gives it a shot. So he's just doing this event in 2020. But look at that. I don't think his hands move. Were they allowed to move their hands? Do you remember?
So you can see he's like in a box. It was similar. They had like a box. And like some people were like not on purpose, but were definitely like going back and forth.
Well, let's take a look at how Matt Frazier does it.
I'm curious, what was their time cap for this? Maybe that's where I'm getting the 6 minutes from.
It says max freestanding hold,
20-minute
time cap. So look at the difference in position. Like now,
right.
Grain of salt, of course, this is an event, and Matt's just trying to hang out on his arms for a certain amount of time and win. You know what? Is that Alec Zirkenbach?
It actually does look like him. I was thinking,
yeah, that might be Haley's brother right there in the background. I'm gonna have to ask him about that. That's funny. Small world. But like, look at the midline, look at the shoulders, look at the legs. Yeah, very interesting. So, all right. So we know that Dave Durante has held it for 10 minutes. He's known for that. Perfect, beautiful position. And so, I just wanted to see what those two positions look like. Do you think that is a possibility if one of these games athletes train themselves to get to that Durante position where they can hold it static 10 minutes, beautiful, it's locked in, and develop a 3-minute L sit, perfect position, which I think there was a little thing going on the internet of people trying earlier last year and people weren't able to do it. But if someone did do that, do you think that would give someone a big edge on the rest of the field? Like, would it be true? Would they just destroy abdominal-based exercises and have that much stronger of a midline? Would their overheads for kettlebells and everything else just be locked in? When they get to the handstand events, which is always like a tricky event for a lot of people, would they just dominate? Do you think that could be a pathway to like just winning the games or having like a big leg up to bump up the leaderboard?
I do think it would be a huge help. I guess my only question is, like with Dave, like how fast can he handstand walk? Because the thing is, like, I guess you could say, like, we take the beauty out of gymnastics when gymnastics is in CrossFit.
Yeah.
And it becomes almost something different, you know? Like, would he be able to sprint on his hands as fast as somebody else could? Of course, I do think, like, if you're able to do these things, you are obviously better off. And I think the wider skill transfer, again, is wider than like, because I think some people can be great handstand walkers. And even when they brought in the ramp, like some people are just great at the ramp. But does that skill transfer? So like you're a great handstand walker, but how is your overhead stability?
So here's another feat that Dave is doing. A 400-meter handstand walk. Did this 6 years ago. So again, this is 2020. 6 years ago. How long ago is 2020? He had 14 kickups, and he did it in 14:41 minutes. or 14 minutes and 41 seconds.
Yeah.
So how do you, if this were to be a CrossFit Games event, how do you think the Games athletes would do in this current day? Do you think they'd finish it faster? And do you think they'd have as many kick-ups or less, or what do you think?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, would more kick-ups help? Like, what are it? Because again, it's like when they do it on the games, they probably wouldn't do a circular track. It would probably just be like a straight shot or like a down and back.
I think it'd be so cool if they did do it on a track where like you have like the inside and outside with their advantages and stuff.
Right.
And the turns.
And then, so like, also what you have to keep in mind is like, when he's kicking down or coming down, he's starting right back where he is. In the games, would they do like, again, like where more you have more of an incentive to drop down and then kick back up again? Like if you have a marker of like every 5 or 10 yards, will you just, all right, I know I just passed the line, let me take a break here and then just try to get each time? Because I don't know. 400 meters is a lot though.
Yeah.
I'd have to check back on like games events where the handstand walk was like a big piece of it. Like that, what was that one? Strongman's Revenge or something? Back in like 19 or something like, or maybe 21. Where it was like do the elements and then walk all the way back. I wonder how much that was cumulatively, but yeah, it's interesting. Because again, I do think the thing with CrossFit is that sometimes CrossFitters become so good at their event instead of being good at the skill itself.
Yes. Yep.
Because the parallettes was a big thing when they added those in, and a lot of people couldn't do it. But now I feel like it's not that big of a deal. But are they better gymnasts now, or do they just know like this is the element? I've been practicing this element exactly like this.
And unfortunately, I don't think they would bring back the parallel because of the flack they got on like it was like like not an exciting event, because people couldn't do it. But I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see at the games, like maybe don't have the LSIT be just an event by its lonesome like that, but do a series of like 10 skills like that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole series is worth 100 points or something like that. That way, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
like
then,
a cumulative.
Yeah. Is this the event you were
like
talking about? Strongman Sphere?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's Elijah, right? Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what it came to because I think they had to get to the element, bring it down, and then walk back. And then I think they had to bring it back again or something. But I'm curious as to what that total amount of handstand walking that they did was.
Let me see. Nope, they didn't put it. Oh, wait, full event details. Okay, so we can still investigate here. 2017. Boy,
Yeah.
that's like 40 years ago now. 150 foot. Or, yeah. Okay, so move the yoke,
field. Yeah.
farmer's log, and sled 150 feet. Handstand walk when moving back. So you had to go move the yoke, carry down 150 feet, handstand walk 150 back, and then okay. So it's like 3 rounds, 3 implements. Interesting. I didn't realize he retired, Elijah Muhammad.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
remember
he is older though as well.
Is he?
Yeah, like he's probably like mid-40s now.
He's in his mid-40s?
I would assume so. I mean, he's still active, trust me. I still follow him and I see his stuff, but I think he's above 40. Because I feel like towards the end when he was competing, he was still like he could have gone masters.
This is awkward trying to put the get the handle in there with the yoke in your face. Wow. Yeah, no, I did not know that he was that old. I remember at the regional here in Albany, there was a thruster rope climb workout that he smoked.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they had the ropes off. I mean, he smoked it, but like they had the ropes off of the ground, I think. But he's tall, so he's just like, I'm on the rope already, and would just start going.
Yeah, I think he only had to like essentially grab the rope and then swing, because I mean, he's a basketball player. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was only to 10 or maybe 12, 11 feet. So he was literally just touching the rope and then like dunking every time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you're Matt Frazier, you're like trying to get up there. And then he has to do so many pulls to finally get his feet there, unless they were legless. They might have been legless. But so it's interesting thing to think about in terms of like, okay, if these athletes like did these things, I'm sure it would go miles for injury prevention. Like you'd be like bulletproof. Imagine Dave Durante's got to have bulletproof shoulders, like and a core if he can do all that stuff. And getting around a 400-meter track in under 15 minutes, which if I was him, that's definitely, if I was monitoring the time, I'd be like, oh, I want to get it done under 15 minutes. So I would be happy at that 14:41. But if I got like 15:03, I'd be like, man, I took too long on one of those kick-ups, because I'd want to be under it. So yeah, it just kind of makes you wonder if maybe. So I guess it's just not worth the time then to put into those things, right? In the grand scheme of training, especially if you have they have so many competitions now. How are you going to train to get that?
And again, I guess it's just like, yes, makes you a better athlete as a whole, but you have to be very conscious of what the testing body is and just testing what is being tested. Because again, I do think that it'll help you as overall, like just having those skills. But again, like do you want to get bogged down by like, oh, this person's, their legs are moving and their knees are bending as they're handstand walking, but they're passing me every time. I'm doing it perfectly, but that's not getting me extra points here.
Yeah. I guess I wonder if having at least the capability to do half that much. Okay, you got a 5-minute freestyle handstand hold that looks solid. Like that's good for your shoulders and your handstand capability. You can hold a 90-second on the floor L-sit, perfect position before you start shaking and then you drop. That's great for your ab strength and your elbows and all that other stuff. And you also have the flexibility to do those things. And that just makes it even easier when you do go to split your legs, because you have the foundation of the right way. And then now you can start that means you got more leeway front, back, and right to do crazy stuff just to go fast versus the guy that can only do it the crazy way. He's probably bleeding some energy, like you might even be able to like bring it together on some of your walks. Like, hold on, I need this. I'm going to rest here, because that is like your easy default position. Then you're going to like break it and try to get across.
Yeah.
And then I wonder. So I wonder if like for the main games pool, if at least having half capacity and just always having them in the mix, like just all right, I'm always going to be warming up with some L-sits on the floor, and you're just like casually doing 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there, which we know at the gym when we do them in workouts, 5 seconds in, people are dying, right? So you just have that much more capacity to do it. If like that would help in the open field, but the masters field, let's say you're a masters athlete and you can do 10 and 3. Do you think you have that much of a leg up on all those guys? What do you think? Well, is it more impactful in the older age?
If you're a masters athlete and you're able to do that, then you've already won, I think.
That's what I'm thinking.
I feel like it's like the mobility itself. If you're even able to build to that point, then I feel like you've already won Like
Because
you're already there.
look at that overhead position in Dave's
The fact that
handstand
you're
hold.
able to do that might just win it for you. Just
Yeah.
itself. You don't even need that amount of minutes. Just
When
itself.
you see all the other older guys just like struggling with their dumbbells and stuff, and on the lunging, their arms are bending and their shoulders are getting blown out, and you're just like, oh no, here I go,
Yeah.
boom. Oh yeah, I don't have to put them down. I don't have to put them down. I was thinking earlier today. It's funny we keep kind of going back to the 2017-ish regional. There was an event that Matt Frazier smoked everybody on, and I was just thinking about like effort in the workouts, and it's like you could see everyone behind him just like chipping away and pacing. Like, all right, I'm gonna do these toes to bar in 3 sets, and then I'm going to move on to this thing. Then I'm going to get to the overhead lunge, whatever. And Matt Frazier's just like unbroken, just redlining it, just going through. And he had already won the regional. He's just kind of like, I'm going. Like I'm gonna do this right now. So like his mindset and attitude is so different than everyone else that was there. They've already all like they have too much of a mindset of like, I'm trying to get second place. I know he already won it, and like you had decided that weeks ago, and I don't think that's good. But like it would have been funny if they gave him the mic afterwards, and it's like, oh, you can NC it now that you're done, and he's just like, come on, get back on that bar, Miguel, and like, boy, you guys are all pretty soft out here. You should pick up that kettlebell and start lunging, like just trash talking and whatnot. I just think they should have given him the mic at times, just when he was done, and like have him threaten, like, you know what, maybe I'll restart the workout. I'll restart the workout and catch all you guys. Like, and then like actually have him restart the workout.
I just feel like he was such a data person, but not in the way that other people are data people.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Where like he knows that if he is able to do certain things unbroken in this testing period, that's another data point for him to go, okay, I was able to do this that time. When I get 30 reps this time, I don't have to know in my mind that like every time I get 30, I do 8, 7, like, and I think a lot of people, which we've talked about like in the gym as well, people get so gamified where they're like, this is how you do this to be the most efficient. And nobody's really taking the risks in a way of like, when you take a risk and like you fail, like me and Mike doing Linda RX and failing at it and capping ourselves is just another data point where I go, oh, okay, that's where I'm at. Cool. All right.
It's okay to not finish the workout every now and then.
Yeah. So I do think that it was partially that mentality too, especially because he trained by himself, of just being like, what is Matt able to do? And that's the only thing that I know.
Well, and he was willing to hurt, and he was also willing to, like you were just saying, all right, I know if I go unbroken on these 30 muscle ups, whatever it may be, probably not that, but something like that, I might fail, and that could lose me the whole thing. I feel like he wasn't afraid to lose, so he like was able to push that way and then game things at other times when it was appropriate. Versus, I feel like everybody's just like kind of like tippy-toeing through every workout a little bit, and then one guy might go out in front, and no one has. I mean, I don't want to say no one, but like it's like, where's the courage now that you see him pulling out in front of you to be like, you know what? Here we go. I'm gonna try to catch him. Doesn't it feel like sometimes they don't even try to catch each other anymore, and that makes the race like a little more boring? Like everyone's like, okay, like let's say if I'm in first place, you're in second place, and I just pulled out ahead, and I had this little lead. And you look behind you and you see that 3 is far enough away. You just become resigned to like, I'm not going to risk 2 instead of, and then also, all right, I already got 2. He's 10 reps ahead of me. I still got another workout to think about. I'll gain more points there. Where's the courage to be like, you know what? Bam. Because that person's probably saying the same thing in number one. Ooh, I got one locked in. I can back off a little bit. And there's not that moment. Like you see it in like field race stuff where like all of a sudden someone will just come up from the back and they're risking it all and they'll pass. And like, I don't know. Where is that stuff in CrossFit? Why is everyone just so like,
I mean, I do think it still exists.
Does it?
I think I've seen it. I mean,
I haven't seen it.
If you look at the games, the most recent, right, where it's like Jason Hopper won, but he almost lost it based on events, like making those mistakes in events. I think the thing with Matt, it was just like it was never close enough for us to. Like, again, that is the thing, too, where it's like maybe somebody was like, all right, I'm going to go out and try to get him. But even if someone is putting in that effort, he never really was in a position where he was like failing those things or in events where.
Well, my classic example, I mean, one, I have to watch the 2025 CrossFit Games. Like I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I think actually if you watch that Rogue and like the World Fitness Project, I think it is more interesting now because people are like,
okay, all right, I need to watch that one. I've seen snippets of it, and then when I was there, I saw things happening, but also I'm like zombified out of my mind. Like, and there's also no commentary and stuff like that. So like, I need to watch it. I would like to watch the running Isabel workout. I'd like to watch the back squat event because I thought that was a cool event. But my classic example is like, I think Noah Olsen could have won that games when he had the leader's jersey. And I think he had the leader's jersey on the last event, right? Going up against Frazier. I think he could have won that. And there's a certain point where they get done with the muscle ups and it's ending on the 30 snatches. And I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, Noah gets off and starts doing singles. Matt comes off after him and starts just repping out fives and moving that bar up. And then he runs away with it. That's like my classic example.
Yes, I know. You love that example. But also, the reality is Matt a way better snatcher than Noah? And it could have been light enough, right? That it's like, it shouldn't matter. But like, it does. It does matter. And sometimes, people are just better. You can dog yourself only to a certain extent.
Yeah. But I'm talking, it's the last 30 reps of the weekend. Come on.
Like, yes, as like in TV shows and stuff, you can will your body to push past a certain point. I think there's a certain point where it's like, oh no. The fact that we're close enough at this point means that he already won.
Don't you think
and it's not even like I let that happen. I do think that it is like, yeah, but that person also has free will and they are also able to think in their mind that, oh, I know that I'm better than everyone at these snatches. And
part of my theory goes part of my theory goes to the training though. I'm like, I bet he does all his workouts like that, where they're like, or at the time, like it's just singles at a specific pace, as opposed to doing Grace or Isabel unbroken and going to that darker place, you know? All right. So, it looks like Matt has the leader's jersey on for this, but I think, and I'd have to listen to the audio. I think if Noah wins this, Noah might win the games. Is that correct? Is that what's happening here?
I cannot remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. The standard 30 clean and jerks, 30 muscle snatches, 30 muscle ups, and then 30 snatches. I do think this is a cool event itself. What do you think about the event?
Yeah, and I think the number is the name is also correct in terms of like, yeah.
Okay, so he beat him off. Oh, Matt's still got. Oh no, he's done. Okay, here's where I think you just got to go. Oh no!
Again, in theory.
And then look at Matt. No, come on now. Look at him just throw that around.
Well, you have to look at again, like everyone else, right? I don't think that's like a Noah thing. I think it's just like one person, like you said,
Look at
in
this.
training.
He didn't even stand
knows
up.
that
He
they
just
can do
rolled
that.
it and stayed folded over. He wants, like, he wants to win this. He wants it more than anyone else out there. Let's see if he'll at least stand up. Okay, he's going to at least stand up. He's 10 reps in. All right, you got to get the shirt off. Between the first 5 reps and the second 5 reps, he didn't even stand up. He just stayed folded over. Wow.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. We're back to this. It's just an interesting thing, you know. It's a cool thing about the sport, you know. So is more of that coming back, where there's more of stuff like that to talk about versus just someone.
Again, I think it always existed. I think it's just like you don't have somebody that's way out in front.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder who the next one like that will be, if there will be one. I don't know.
I'm not even sure if that's possible.
To get those 2 guys, you had Froning, who was like the inaugural unbeatable champ. And of course he had resources, and also amazing, incredible athlete, you know, and all that stuff. So he had his time. And then you had Matt Frazier, who was just willing to put all of life's resources into this, you know. He's just training all the time, not posting videos. He's got his wife cooking, or girlfriend at the time, cooking meals for him. He's just making his home gym better and better. Like, so I feel like he's doing all that stuff. I don't know what what it will take for the next person to do that. They'd have to be a genetic freak and put their whole life's resources into that and have that support team. Is there anything else that would help, or is that all? Yeah,
No,
I don't know.
Again, I don't think it's possible unless, like, we have to see the sport go through cycles. And I think at the current point that we're at, I think everyone's maximizing it as much as they can.
Yeah. But are they? Like, all right, Froning was still running an affiliate and teaching level 1s and stuff like that. And then he stopped at a certain point, but he was doing that. Matt Frazier wasn't doing any of that. He was just in his basement, you know, on a assault bike, working out. But a lot of these new guys, they're doing things like podcast and stuff like, so like they got like other things going on. You don't think someone else that could go into Matt Frazier mode and like not do that stuff and just completely be like a dark horse and not even put any of their training out? No one knows. Everyone's too posty about all their stuff. Do you think someone can't come in?
I don't think that's a big enough of a factor. You can be that guy. You also might still be at my level. I could not post any of our training videos. I could do whatever and still be at the level that I am. I don't think that's because a lot of these people, like, they have people post for them.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's it. And it's not having the camera crews around.
That's right.
These current camera crews around.
These current athletes are spending an arm and a leg to have social media managers and stuff like that. Matt Frazier is like doing a little bit of that maybe, but also like buying extra eggs and stuff like that, you know, like buying food. And
see, again, you got to see, like, the sports landscape is different. Like, he was in an environment where he was able to do those certain things and like not care about as much of like his personal brand. Because one, the sport isn't as big at the time when he's starting. And also, like, he doesn't have to, there aren't as many athletes, right? So he's not competing as much of a place to like get that rogue sponsorship. But now that everyone is on social media, in order to survive, you literally
he would just win and get sponsorships.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But I mean, now that there's a pool of guys that are all around the same skill level, what's the difference between you and them?
Mm-hmm. Do you think that having a personal brand like that and having to be so active on social media and stuff like that is that like a requirement now? Like you wouldn't
100%.
you wouldn't be able to survive in the landscape and
You
do this
literally would
Matt
not be
Frazier
able
style?
to travel to all these places and do all that unless like you come from a rich family and you're like trust fund kid. Those people can always do whatever. But I
couldn't you
genuinely
just
like
couldn't
if you looked at people and like what they say, like you can't survive. You can't because then like the whole thing of like, and some people do it now where it's like, yeah, my spouse also cooks all my meals and does all this because they saw the success that Matt was able to get to it. But yeah, no, it's not possible. Just because the landscape has also changed. Like it's more competitive to get these brand deals. Winning isn't enough.
even if you're
It's
the
the
games
same thing that's
champion,
happening
even if you win, even if you win the games, you're like oh, you've won the games twice in a row. Really?
It's that follower count thing where it's like, yeah, after the games, but nobody cares. You weren't interesting. That's just the way that the world is now. I mean,
I know, but
Hollywood,
I hate
right? Maya Hawke, who's on Stranger Things, Ethan Hawke's daughter, was saying like,
looks just like Uma Thurman. Like I was thinking that when I was watching the finale.
Yeah. But she even said like, oh, I don't really want to use social media, but for like a lot of these smaller projects to even get made or to be considered for a larger project, studios are thinking about their budgets, right? And they're like, all right, so if you post the trailer to our movie, how many followers do you have? How much engagement do you get? No matter who you are, no matter how good of an actor you are, if you don't have a social media presence, that might be the thing that loses you the job.
Just I hate everything about that. I know. Yep.
It's so big. I think that's the biggest thing. It's so big. They can always choose someone who's maybe a little bit worse than you, but has a bigger following.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the movie will be as good. And see, I still care about the movie being good.
I guess, but
I know, but it's like, boy, they shouldn't have cast this person to play this part. You know, I know I hate everything about that. I hate that it's not a situation like Jason Hopper just won. He's the fittest man in the world. He's the CrossFit Games champion. These companies should be like tripping over themselves to talk to him and give him stuff. He's a champion.
But why?
Imagine back in the day when you're
but
like when you're the
like 10 of them.
No. I'm not even saying like CrossFit. I'm just saying like boxing or something like that. You were the world heavyweight champion. People were killing each other just to get to you. That's how it should be. You're the champion. I
can't be.
I hate it. I don't like this new thing. Where's the switch? Let's just shut it all off. Everybody instantly loses all followers. Let's just stop this experiment. It will never happen. It's actually going to get worse. It's going to get way worse.
Right.
It's turning into The Boys. It is The Boys. It is The Boys now.
It really is.
And boy, not good. Well, I know we went on a games tangent here. I don't even remember where this topic kind of like sprung off. Yeah. We're talking about the article, the interval generator.
Simplicity.
Huh?
The basics, simplicity is where we were at.
Yeah, the basics, simplicity, do them. Yeah, do them. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, that's all I got, Miguel. I got anything else? What anything else off the top of your head or on the topics that we've talked about today? I think it all threads through on like, you know, just practice it, put in a little bit of effort every day, and don't worry about your follower count.
See, I was going to go the opposite way of practice a little bit, but also remember that you need a personality. Document everything that you're doing, make it fun, make it interesting. That's my thing.
Now, you see, I do like that. Make it fun. Document things, you know. All right, let's scrap everything. Make money. Do that. All right,
Yeah.
everybody gather around. We're changing courses. Forget the basics. Forget simplicity. Forget make everything as unique as possible. You got a peacock out there. So for your program, throw in all the crazy shit. If you hurt athletes or anything like that, block them. That's where we're at now. We got the technology. Block them. Just block them.
And then when you see, the waves changing, lead a minimalistic program, and then go like, we're going back to our roots, and then do that ad campaign, make money off of that as well.
Yep, I like that. Turn on the market before the market turns on you. So like everyone's got all the fancy projects. When you look around, when it starts to saturate, be like, you know what, everyone, we got to switch gears and just take over. And then a few months or years after that, start to fluff it up. It's just, I hate it even more. Oh boy. Oh, doesn't it feel gross?
It's what everybody else is doing.
Oh, I need a shower after this. Oh, it feels so horrible. It feels so bad. All right. On that note, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep. Happy New Year.